It was a good lap, probably one of my better laps, and I put everything together. Apart from turn one, I think couldn't have been happier with the lap. So good. Probably didn't expect the gap to be so big, but also when I did the lap, I was very happy with it, and kind of expected nothing less than to probably have a bit of a gap to second place. So I felt good out there. The car was feeling mega, and I was very confident out there. So always a good thing. I'm not feeling any pressure. I'm not feeling any of these things. I'm just trying to do what I know I'm capable of doing. I work well with the team. The team are doing an amazing job. We've got some good upgrades here. Everything's flowing well. Everyone's very motivated, and that's what you want from a team.
I'm happy with the front row, even though qualifying was very difficult. Every run, probably everyone says it. The balance was a bit different with the wind, but it's just very difficult to be fast. But at the end, still on the front row, splitting the McLarens, which I think is a positive, and it still, of course, gives us opportunities for tomorrow. But of course, we have to stay realistic. It was 3.5 tenths. I think it's quite a big gap.
First part of the lap was pretty good, and then I don't know if I got a bit of a gust of wind or I just took it not as good, but it just went away from me a bit in the second part of the lap. So a bit of a shame because I felt like I was driving well, and even the last lap didn't feel terrible. Just a little bit here, a little bit there, and the gap suddenly adds up.
Always a little bit difficult psychologically when you go out there and it's just not feeling as you expect, and you're down the order looking likely to or potentially get knocked out of Q1, but just had to take a reset. Q1 at the end I was strong. I think I was second. Q2 was really strong again, right behind the McLarens, and then Q3 it just didn't quite come to me. I expected a little bit more. But I think P4 was a fair result.
I was blocked by Lewis in Q1, so we had to put an extra set, and that really did compromise our qualifying because we ended up in Q3 with a single set, unfortunately. But it's what it is. We should have been quicker in my first attempt in Q2.
Disappointing because as much as we expected this result, we also did not expect to be 9 tenths off pole position. So. It's a lot, especially on such a short track like this. It's really a lot. So unfortunately, I keep repeating myself since quite a few months, but we've got a lot of work to do. We are aware as a team that we have a lot of work to do. We are working flat out to try and close that gap. We will have upgrades soon on the car, which I hope will help us close that gap. But when I see the gap on a track like this, I'm not sure it will be enough to at least be in the fight for the win.
I'm quite happy. I struggled the whole qualifying Q1 and Q2. I was not happy with the car. And it felt like a lottery sometimes in turn 9 and 10, depending how gusty was the wind there. You get one result to another. So I think I felt my best lap was Q3 with less wind there. So my lucky lap was Q3, which is always what you want. And I'm happy with P7. Let's see if we can keep this position tomorrow.
I did all my laps feeling quite good, and then knew it was tricky out there for my car. Then the wind died for one lap and I went 7-8 tenths quicker. So it felt a little bit like a lottery. In some ways, you would turn into turn 9, turn 10, every lap totally different.
Strong throughout qualifying, just Q3 a few mistakes in my lap and just not putting everything together.
That was a very nice surprise post-summer break because, I must say, debrief before the qualifying. On pure pace, we didn't look great, and we used 3 sets in Q1 knowing that it will be tough to get out of that Q1. And in the end, we tried just to focus on ourselves in these tricky conditions. We said, okay, just try to maximize what we got and try to capitalize on any mistakes from any others.
Very poor weekend up until now, given that we haven't been able to run pretty much in the dry, and we, not even in the wet really, we haven't done any laps after the summer break, and going into quali with not touching the soft, not doing the run that everyone did in FP2 the whole session. Obviously I was on the back foot and paid the price. If on top of that you add that we don't look very performing this weekend, plus we are also I had a bit of traffic in the lap, then all these things start adding up and you're P11.
It just went downhill like a domino effect from the moment with Checo, and then balance just got more and more snappy, more and more oversteery, and it was terrible.
Definitely disappointed. Seems pretty tight to P10. But to be honest, I was pretty happy with my lap, and simply just we lacked of pace quite a lot, and I feel like a step down quite a lot compared to what we had in FP2. I mean, the FP2 pace was pretty good. Certainly in the qualifying one, we struggled quite a lot, and I have to give almost 100% to go through Q2.
It's been tough in quali. With the wind really has picked up again in the afternoon, but it was the first sort of clean run that I had since this weekend. You know, where every other session was heavily interrupted with the things that you saw, and it was a very difficult build-up to quali. But at least now I managed to keep it clean. Produce good clean laps without any hiccups, and that was actually pretty decent now, I feel. I'm not too unhappy how quali went, but obviously you sort of always have that feeling, because we missed out so much yesterday, that you're always like a step behind.
We had a feeling we'd be slightly better, and we just, fell on the rear end of that little group there between P10 and P15, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think it's still possible to do something tomorrow, but it will require, good pace again, and hopefully we will have that.
I don't feel good for sure. It's Q1. It's over so quick. If you don't get it right, it just that's it. So it was tricky. It was tricky, but honestly, a little bit not quite sure at the moment why we struggled so much. So yeah,
we changed everything, floor, chassis, everything, to try and understand, some things. But 2 days since the beginning of the weekend, it hasn't been clicking, and the grip is just very poor. So I lost the car, exit of 10, but I lost the car way before already. I don't know how I managed to keep it on track before, but it couldn't basically complete the lap.
When you look at the result, it's of course not where we want to be. We want to be making progress, but this weekend has proved quite tricky for us. And again, today in the qualifying, when the wind picked up, it just feels like it's amplifying some of the weaknesses that we have and inconsistencies.
Over the night, we changed the car for try to improve the high fuel, and then going to qualify with the track finally drying. Seems to be it just doesn't really have the pace, and it's probably made it worse for the low fuel. So tricky session. I was just struggling myself with the balance, and every lap was have to underdrive a little bit because the tire was overheating already after turn 3. So just very surprising, of course.
Obviously not an ideal day, but I feel okay, which is most important. A little bit sore, but I'm good to go for tomorrow.
How frustrating was it to obviously not get the chance to get out there, and how much is that going to hurt tomorrow? Obviously you'll get the chance to race, but obviously it puts you a lot on the back foot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's my mistake, so I'll take that. All we can do is look forward. I think we have a decent car this weekend, so we'll see what conditions come up tomorrow and see what we can do.